Hello, good morning friends. Welcome back to your favorite channel codeonedigest. Today in this tutorial, we will learn what are utility types we have in TypeScript programming language. We'll understand what are the utilities, how to use it in our programming, what benefits they provide. So stay tuned and watch this tutorial till end. It is going to be very exciting and informative tutorial. If you want to learn TypeScript, so you should learn these utilities because this will save your time. These are ready to use utilities which is provided in the programming language which makes your job easy, right? So let's understand some of the very useful utilities available in TypeScript. Friends, in the previous tutorial, we learned about generics in TypeScript. Do you know what is generics and how to use it in TypeScript programming language? So if you have not seen the previous video, go and watch the previous video on generics. If you want to learn generics, so go and watch the previous video in generics. It is going to be very useful and informative tutorial for you. Friends, I have also created the complete playlist of TypeScript. I have explained all the lessons one by one in this playlist, like installation process of TypeScript, what are arrays, tuples, what is enum, what all different object types we have in TypeScript, interfaces, alias and union, functions, and how to typecast in TypeScript, and so on. I have created this playlist to cover all the features of TypeScript programming language. So go and watch this playlist. It is going to be very informative and very useful tutorial for you. If you want to learn TypeScript, then this is a tutorial, this is a playlist for you. Okay, friends. So watch this playlist, use this playlist to learn TypeScript, and let me know if you have any feedback or any comment on any of the tutorial to improve future tutorials. Okay friends, so here is the agenda of this tutorial today. I'll explain you what is utility, what all utility types we have like partial, required, record, omit, peek, exclude, return type, read only. These are some very useful utilities that we have in TypeScript, and I'll show you this utility one by one with the coding example, and at the end we'll run the program and see the output. Okay friends. Okay friends, so I have now opened the Visual Studio Code, and now let's understand lesson 8 on utility types. Okay, so this folder I have created lesson 8 utilities, and inside that I have created utilities.ts file. Let's see this file. Right. So there are a lot of utility available in TypeScript which makes our job easy, right? These are some useful utility that I'm going to cover in this tutorial today. So TypeScript comes with a large number of types that can help with some common type manipulation, usually referred to as a utility types. Okay, this chapter covers the most popular utility types. Friends, before we proceed in this video, I request you to subscribe this channel to grow Code One Digest family. Friends, I am creating a lot of quality videos on programming, coding concepts, design pattern and design principles, cloud and container technologies, but I'm not getting subscribers. I request you to like, share and subscribe this channel so that I can grow our Code One Digest family. Thank you. The very first utility type that we are going to cover is partial in exercise 1, right? So partial changes all the properties in object to a optional. So let's say this is our class or interface. I have defined point and it has x and y value as a coordinates, right? X as a number and y as a number. Now, when I'm creating an instance of this point, I can say whether x or y can be optional, right? So how can we do that? So when we create an instance of this point, that time we can define that make all the properties of this interface optional. How can we do that? So see this example. I have created a variable x point of type point, and in generics it is taking its type is point. Okay, and I have defined it empty first. Now this partial will make all the properties under this point as optional. So now here I have just defined a variable. I have not initialized the instance of point, and I'm initializing it here. X point dot x is equals to 5, right? So is allowing me to go without the value of y. I have not defined the value of y here, and it is letting me create that. Okay, and then at line number 13 I am printing the value of x and y. So what it is going to print? It will print the value of x, that is 5, and undefined, because y we have not defined. So we'll see that once we run this program. Okay, friends. Now let me move to exercise number 2 and see another utility types, that is required. So what is required utility type? Required changes all the properties in an object to required. That means we need all the properties here. It is like making it mandatory. If you see here, I have defined an interface car, and it has three attributes: make of type string, model of type string, and mileage, that is optional. We said here it's optional as number, right? So mileage is number. But when I'm defining my car and using required utility, and in generic I'm passing the type, that is car. Okay, I'm initializing an instance my car with make pod, model is EcoSport Titanium, and mileage is 18. Now this become required field. If I remove this, it will start crying. Let us see that. See what it says. Property mileage is missing in the type. Though we defined this as a optional, but due to this utility required, it become mandatory. That means we must have that property defined. Hence, I have to assign a value to mileage property as well, right? So now at line number 30, I'm printing my car. It will print the JSON with make Ford, model EcoSport Titanium, and mileage 18, right? We'll see that once we run this program. Okay, friends. So now let's see our third utility, that is record. What is record utility? Says record is a shortcut to defining an object type with a specific key type and value type. So without defining a class, without defining an interface, I can define a specific key and value. So if you see here, I'm defining a constant name age map. Okay, and I'm using a record utility here. In that, this generic is taking two values, that is string and number. So it is like mapping between a string value to a number value, and instantly I'm initializing this with the value, that is Alice 21 and Bob 25. So this map is a key value pair as per these generics. Got it? So we have not defined any structure like interface or class. We are instantly defining it here using a record utility. Right, friends? And at line number 38, I am printing this instance, this constant name age map. So what it is going to print? It is going to print a JSON like this: Alice 21, Bob 25. Okay, we'll see this once we run this program. Okay. Now, let's see exercise 4 with the utility omit. What omit utility says? Omit remove keys from an object type. So I can define what all key I want to exclude from an object type while using it. So let's say I've defined an interface person with keys or with properties name as a string, age as number, and location as a string. So this is optional. Now, what I'm saying is, when I'm creating an instance, my person, and I'm using a utility omit, in that generic, I'm giving person as a type and saying what all properties of person I want to omit. That means age and location. Okay. This pipe symbol is the separator here. This my person will be of type person, but it will not have age and location properties. Okay. And here I'm defining my person with only name. If I try to assign age, let's say 15, it is giving me error. Type string age is not assignable to type omit person, right? That means this property is not available. In fact, I cannot use location, right? My locate. Okay. If I remove this, so this property is not available, right, friends? Hence, the omit utility remove those properties, those keys that we have given in the generics here. So my person will only have other properties like name, right? Hence we are able to set the value here. Now at line number 50, when I'm printing my person, it will print only name property, right? Okay, friends, now let's see a next utility pick. Okay, so in exercise 5, we will see a utility pick. What is pick utility says? Pick remove all but the specified key from an object type. It is just another flavor of omit, what we have seen just now. It is reverse of omit. It will pick the property and automatically other properties will be removed from the object. Let's see the same example. Interface my person having a name as a string, age as number and location as a string. Now, while creating a constant Bob, I'm using pick utility on my person and I'm just picking a name. Okay, I'm just picking name as a property. So what will happen automatically, these two properties will not be available to me, right? Hence I'm initializing the name here Bob, right? Because I have picked it here. Now if I try to assign value to age, it will not let me do that, right? It says age is not available, is not assignable to type pick my person, right? Same would be the case with location as well. It will not let me initialize the location. Got it? So pick is just opposite of omit. Omit, remove those properties, whatever is given in the generic. Pick will pick those properties, whatever is given in the generic, right? Pick has only kept name. So age and location were removed from the type and they can't be defined. Okay, friends. At line number 64, I am printing Bob. So what it will print? It will just print this name Bob, right? Like this. We'll see that once we run this program. Okay friends, now let's see exercise 6 with utility type exclude. So what is exclude utility type? Exclude remove types from a union. Okay, so we have seen union. What is union, right? So it removes the type. Let us see with an example. Let's see type primitive and it can be a string, it can be number or it can be boolean, right? That's how we define union. This primitive can take a string or number or boolean type of value. But when I'm defining constant value and using exclude utility, inside that I'm giving type as primitive. This is my type primitive and I'm saying string. Okay. So it is removing a string from primitive type and we are assigning a value true here, right? So string cannot be used here since exclude removed it. Now let me see if I can assign a string to it, my string. Okay, it will not let me do that. Cannot assign a value because it is a constant. Or even if I, let's say if I make it let, so my string is not assignable to type number and boolean, right? So string cannot be defined, but in value I can define a number. Let's say I'll give 15. So it is accepting that, right? So this operation is possible, but this operation is not possible because we have excluded the string, right? Okay, friends. So at line number 70, I am printing the value of this variable value and it will print me true because we have assigned it true. We have initialized it with true. Okay, now let us see a next utility type, return type in exercise 6. So what is return type utility says? Return type extracts the return type of a function type. Let's see that with example. What is it meaning? I have defined a type and named it as a point generator. And it is a type of function where I have X number and Y number. Okay. Now, when I'm defining an instance of this point generator as a point and using a utility return type and passing this point generator type inside the generic, I'm assigning X is equal to 10 and Y is equal to 20. And then I'm printing it. I'm printing this point at line number 79. So what it is gonna print here? we will see that it will print here x is equals to 10 and y is equals to 20. So we'll see this once we run the program. Okay friends, now let's see our last utility of the day is read only in exercise 7. What is read only utility says? Read only is used to create a new type where all the properties are read only, meaning they cannot be modified once assigned a value. It is like constant. Once you have defined, it will not be modifiable, or it is immutable. We cannot change the value. So read only makes all the properties read only. So let's say I've defined a cycle as an interface and having a two properties, brand as a string, size as number. So when I'm defining a constant here, or I will say let my cycle and using a read only utility, and in generic I'm passing a cycle type. Okay, so the brand and size of this MyCycle instance will become read only. So brand is Firefox and size is 35. So now this value I cannot change in MyCycle. So when I'm printing it at line number 90, it will print brand is equal to Firefox, size is equal to 35. But at line number 91, if I'm trying to assign a value, new value to MyCycle.brand is equals to giant, it will not let me do that because it is a read-only property. Same way, if I try to assign size, so it will say size is a read-only property. Right, friends? So read-only utility makes all the properties inside that object read-only. We cannot change the value of those properties, right? With me? Now what I'll do is I'll run this program and we'll see the output. Okay, friends? Okay, friends. So now I've opened a console and I'm in that lesson 8 utilities folder. So what I'll do is I'll compile the code first. tsc utilities.ps, right? So I'll compile this. So it will compile and it will create a JS file. Now I'll say node utilities.js, right? Now let's run it. So it says 5 and undefined as a first example in exercise 1. This exercise 2 where we have defined car having these properties, make, model and mileage. This is third person, Alice and Bob as a name and age map. These are example of omit and pick. Here we are printing true for that union, right? And this is return type x10 and y20. This is our read-only example where I'm printing the cycle brand and its size where all the attributes are read-only here. Right, friends? So if you like this tutorial, give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to the channel, so do subscribe to my channel to grow codeonedigest family. Thank you. Friends, you need not to worry about the examples that I'm showing to you. This is all available in my GitHub repository. And this is a project, TypeScript complete tutorial, right? So this is my repository, codeonedigest, and inside you can find TypeScript complete tutorial, and it has all the lessons what I have covered in this tutorial, TypeScript tutorial. I have created a playlist where all these lessons are covered. So lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is lesson 8 what we are seeing today in this tutorial. Okay, friends. So just download this code. You can clone this repository into your local and just load all these projects into your Visual Studio Code and start using it. You can tweak it, you can change the code, and you can start using it. So download today and start using this repository. Friends, if you like this video, so give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for the more interesting videos. Click on the bell icon for the latest video notifications and do not forget to share this video with all your friends and colleagues. This is very useful information for students, beginners, and software engineers. I am putting a lot of efforts in creating these contents So please help me growing the Code One Digest family. Please subscribe to Code One Digest channel for the latest programming and technology related videos. Thank you.